Welcome to another episode of State of the Bulldogs. Sam, Mike, Jeb, and Grant. Boys, we have coach. The Bucky era is gone. The Acuff era is here. That was like what, 3-4 days maybe?
Yeah. Bucky was announced A&M Friday. We got a new coach Wednesday. Like we hoped we would.
Pretty sweet.
Not bad.
Got the guy that we talked about. Well, we talked about 4 or 5. Got the guy I was most excited for. I was like, give me the retirement gig. Give me the guy with the family, with the roots, with all the reasons to stay. Now we'll see how long he decides to work. I think that's another question. But Mike, reaction when Acuff was hired?
Well, I think we knew leading up to it for a day or two beforehand because we're media, so we get all the insight. But
Right.
Yeah, I was working the phones.
excited.
I was working the phones the last 48 hours. I legit did get a call that morning. So, but yeah, go ahead.
No,
Hey,
I was
Grant,
very excited. He's, obviously I'm a Nashville guy and Lipscomb. Everybody around Nashville really, he's highly regarded. I know some guys that I think knew him or maybe family knows him and spoke really highly of him. But just looking at his track record at UAH and really specifically at Lipscomb the last, 5 or 6 years, and just how he took that program during COVID to, he kind of had the same track record or kind of trained as Bucky, rough first 2 years and then had 3 21 seasons. And so he seems like the kind of guy, given the family situation, he'll come in and stick around for 10 years until he retires and hopefully keep Samford up at the top of SoCon.
Yeah, no. Very promising hire. It's always nice to hire the guy who has all of the experience that you want. Grant, you obviously had an inkling. You came up with the list, and one of the guys on your initial list was the one we hired.
I think I might go work. I think I might go work for a search firm after this. If I might just make literally driving to Augusta. Blake and I are like, what about this guy? What about this guy? Oh, let's do this guy. Write him down. Ends up being one of the 8 guys. But yeah, I think everything Mike said. Started off COVID. Who knows everything? That's basically 2 years wiped out, 2020 and 2021. Basically, kind of take those with a grain of salt. Finished 25-10 last year, 14-4 in the ASUN, tied for first. Ended up getting the auto bid into a tournament. Like Mike said, 3 straight 21 seasons under Acuff, who compiled 110 and 82 record. Yeah, a lot of glowing reviews and endorsement of him as a person, as a coach. I got a lot of messages on social just about people that do know him and what kind of guy and person he is. So yeah, it would be awesome to get to see him. We get introduced before we record, and Martin Newton in the announcement basically said the same thing. I'm honored to have the opportunity to serve. Sorry, this is Acuff. Sorry. I'm honored to have the opportunity to serve as the head basketball coach at Samford. I'm grateful to Dr. Taylor and Martin Newton for believing in me and entrusting me with the basketball program that has enjoyed unparalleled success over the past 5 years under Coach Bucky McMillan. Samford University is a special place, and I can assure everyone who loves this institution that we will work tirelessly to put a team on the floor that you'll be proud of while never compromising what the university stands for. So yeah, you bring that off the court, building in a program, and hopefully have success on the court with a number of years. And yeah, you get a guy that's going to stay for a little while longer if the results come as well.
That's what's weird. This is the first basketball hire in our, Samford lifetime era where there have been stakes. Like before, if we didn't even, I didn't even know Samford existed in the 2000s, right? And that was the last time we had any kind of hire coming off of a period of success. It's not like, I think that whenever any kind of foundation is built, it's easier to build upon that. We can get into this as much as you want or as little as you want, but I think one area that is going to keep Acuff busy is continuing building just the student involvement with the basketball program. We saw the height of it with Bucky, but I would not say Bucky sustained that, especially just looking at the crowds last year compared to the year before. And I don't know if that had to do with not as many, with no Jermaine Marshall, like some guy that magnanimous on not on the team last year. I don't know if it's really just player driven or what, but that is one challenge that Acuff's still going to have. And then obviously recruiting at a high enough level to compete with some of the big dogs of the SoCon that we have flirted with.
Last
these
week he
past
did
couple
it.
years.
Last week he did an interview with Greg McElroy and Cole Kubick in the morning, and Greg kind of asked him what's kind of the thought process and like replacing Bucky, and his response was, "Coach Acuff, I have no interest in replacing Bucky. Bucky is someone I respect greatly. He's a good friend. That's not my job. My job is to keep Samford basketball at the top of the Southern Conference. That's what my job is."
That's right. 100%. What kind of style of play does he run?
Princeton offense.
Oh, so we're chilling. We're gonna score.
He's actually, if you go to Wikipedia,
like Citadel.
if you Google Princeton offense, go to Wikipedia. His name is on there as one of the staples. So,
oh, cool. That's cool.
There's a lot of good YouTube. He's done a lot of podcasts like basketball specific, going over like certain sets, like showing them clips, and he'll break down stuff for you. So there's a lot of that on YouTube if you can go find it. Last year, Lipscomb and Kempon was 88th in the country in offense and 101st in defense. So a pretty good balance right there with one of his best teams. So we'll be pressing every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But we're going to find out there's more ways to win basketball games than just creating havoc and finding ways to turn over your opponent a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit slower, a little bit slow, faster pace, which honestly, whatever gets the job done at this point, where you don't really care as much.
Who cares? Right.
I'm excited about that.
Beat Bourbon.
I'm excited about a little bit more flow in the offense, I guess. I think some of the havoc that Bucky ball is kind of getting stressful now. Love a good pick and roll, pick and pop.
Yeah.
Setting the offense up should be fun.
Bucky ball was its own ordeal, and as a fan, created a lot of highs and a lot of very stressful moments.
High heart rates, yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's fun. I mean, at the same time, that's a very fun, very engaging style of play. So excited to see what he brings to the table. I mean, at the end of the day, if we have shooters, we will win games. If we don't have shooters, we will not win as many games. So he needs to get as many of those guys on campus. Yeah. And as we mentioned last week, step one, get the donors on board. And so far, signs are pointing to that's the case, because Zion never left the team. Shout out to Zion, our new favorite player, number one guy in everyone's heart. 2, the freshman from Huntsville re-signed, so to speak, with Samford, Caleb Harrison, right?
Yeah, Caleb redshirted last year. Yep.
And then a freshman or a high school recruit that had committed to Samford from Huntsville, also committed to Samford, or from Huntsville also committed to Samford. So a few early wins on the recruiting trail, and now we'll see where he goes from here.
That Huntsville kid was a college or high school teammate of Caleb Harrison last year, playing for one of Bucky's former assistants, who's the head coach of Christian Shewers over at Huntsville. JD Goss at 6'6". Huntsville last year was averaged 15 points per game, 5 boards, 4 assists, shot 63% of the field, and had over 1,000 career points. So he scored in his last final game against Hoover. He scored 21 points. So you're getting a guy who can put the ball in the basket as well.
63% from the field is insane. I don't know in high school basketball. I'm sure it just runs the gambit on terms of stats, but
Huntsville is 7A2, which for those out of state, it's the highest level in the state. So
highest state, there's a good joke to be made there, but it don't matter. I guess one other thing before we get to a few other basketball items, it was cool to see where some of our team is headed to next year. I thought it was cool that Brownell's going to USC. That guy has been on quite a college journey. Indiana, I guess the pinnacle. I mean, if you think about the college experience, it doesn't get any better than USC. So that'll be cool. Even if he never plays, that'll be cool. But he might, because they're terrible. They don't have Bronny.
I was kind of surprised that he committed so early, given the Bucky news.
Yeah, that was
I kind of would have thought he would have at least taken a visit to A&M and
LA versus College Station. Come on.
I don't know, man. He's from Utah. He's, culture shock in LA, maybe. I guess he's come from Chicago, though.
Yeah, that is a wild ride from Utah to Chicago to Birmingham, and then
culture shock
and then to LA. Yeah, that's probably why. Yeah, we can ask Rylan all about that, or we have asked Rylan about that.
He said it was different.
Yeah.
And then we were happy to see Allensbach getting some looks at some pretty big name programs. So
he just visited Virginia Tech. He was going to visit Northwestern, I think, and then there's other Big Ten ACC schools he really is fit for Northwestern when you think about
See,
the way they play basketball. But
he's got a big brain in his big body because those are very good academic institutions where you should certainly spend your scholarship years. So,
so he might get
he
some
should
P4
definitely go to
love. So
Northwestern if he can.
yeah, he might get some P4 love. And then Josh Holloway's, I think he has the best chance of following Bucky. He's expected to visit College Station as when this drops sometime this week. So I expect that to happen quick because Bucky just needs bodies, right? So
Do we think he would play in the S? I don't think he would succeed that much in the SEC. But who knows going from sophomore to junior year what kind of jump that means.
yeah, I think there's a rule for him like defensively, but again, it's just so early with Bucky trying to get by. He's got 3 players on the roster. We have 3 as well, so we can play 3v3 next year if we want to. But
Can't shoot.
yeah, well, that's the problem. Yeah.
Imagine him playing against the Bama team this year.
Yeah, he can do everything else though. So
yeah,
if he can learn to control the ball a little better, he could play a decent backup role, but not ideal, I'd say.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Sam, you're talking about Acuff and some of his offenses. This was in the Samford release as well. Lipscomb last year was 27th nationally in effective field goal percentage, and then his Lipscomb teams ranked top 4 in scoring offense each of the past 4 years in the ASUN and led the league in field goal percentage each of the last 3 seasons. So again, there's other ways to get offense rolling.
It's also the ASUN, but yeah, that's good. Uh-huh. I'm excited, guys. Acuff was the guy I wanted. I didn't want to have our Bucky conversation 4 years from now, but like I said, Acuff might just want to retire. Which is perfectly understandable. But excited for the Acuff era. Grant, you'll be at the announcement tomorrow. Excited to hear what he says. Excited to see how many students show up. Very interested to see what the buy-in is like early, because even when you build a winner at Samford, it doesn't guarantee student body buy-in.
So if there aren't any intramural games tomorrow during the press conference,
we are in exam or approaching exam season, Mike. So the library might be slammed, or at least the Einstein's line.
Yeah.
It's 11:15 in the morning. We barely study at all. We don't study at 11 in the morning. What are we doing here?
Buck or Grant, you had a question for us about Bucky, or is there anything else in the portal? I mean, we'll obviously keep everybody updated with the tracker online as things come in, but
yeah, other than I don't know one way or the other whether the 2 previous commits under Bucky are still committed or if they got released from their letters or not. I think that's something I kind of need to find out.
Don't release them, make them sue. Kidding.
And Lipscomb did have another guy. He's still committed there, along with the Huntsville kid Gossett, who was committed to Lipscomb. We'll see if he gets his release and whether he comes to Samford as well. He's a 6'6" forward. He's from the state of Alabama as well.
Gossett did get the release.
Yeah, Gossett's the one that committed, and then Josh Scott is the name of the kid who was committed to Lipscomb. We'll see if he keeps that commitment, whether he comes to Homewood. So
I didn't realize we were going after 2. I guess you got.
Yeah, it's still. Well, I think we're still in the dead period, maybe, but got to get the staff figured out. I think some of that might be in flux right now because Lipscomb is looking to potentially promote one of their associate head coaches to head coach. So you would think that some of Acuff's staff from Lipscomb will probably come over to Samford with him, but regardless, he's got to get his staff figured out so he can get on the road and continue recruiting.
Yeah, it has been reported his son, Will, is coming over from Montevallo to be on his staff at Samford. So we'll see when the announcement comes, if that's part of the announcement by the time this drops.
Yeah.
So,
there's still a lot to shake out, player-wise, coaching-wise. I just hope that it all works out. Grant, question about Bucky.
Yeah, it's kind of, we're kind of get, this was better than like instant reaction, kind of take a break from. When you're thinking back on like the 5 years of what we had with Bucky and kind of the program building up. What do you think is the biggest? What do you guys think is the biggest what if of the last 5 years? We made the tournament. We knocked the door down, as you said. We didn't get to win a game or have any more chances to get in, but he did do what he was going to do, or did say what he was going to do, getting in the tournament. What do you think is the biggest what if that could have happened in the last 5 years? I think it's an easy answer, but just want to hear what you guys thought.
I thought you were going to ask us if Bucky should be Samford Hall of Fame.
Probably.
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Yes. Yeah, that's definitely yes. Yeah.
Do you think it's a yes? I think it's a no.
Yes. Oh, really?
Oh, well.
I don't know that 5 years is long enough. and 1 tournament appearance, in my opinion. But that's not
But
the
it's
question, so let's
Samford.
focus on the question.
Great. Repeat the question.
What is the biggest what if over the last 5 years in the Bucky era? What?
I mean, the biggest what if is what if we beat Kansas? What happens? But I think at the same time, the easiest answer is he leaves that year to whomever is hiring.
Yeah.
The other thing that came to mind is what if he figures out recruiting and his style of recruiting in the SoCon before year 4 or year 3? What if and we didn't have COVID, right? Like, what if he had figured it out year 2
No.
and we are in the tournament for 2 years instead of just 1?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if Achor and AJ come back for this past year?
That was it. That was my answer. What if Achor never? What if AJ just left? What if Achor himself never entered the portal?
But at the same time, like, what the the biggest upside there is we make the tournament. He's still probably gone this year. So
yeah,
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we lose 1 season.
Yeah, that was basically that's what I was thinking. What if Achor never entered? Do we get back into the tournament? Maybe is a better question. But again, we probably find ourselves in the same spot. We get he moves on somewhere else. But
is it a hot take to say that Achor needed Jermaine? Like, having Achor without Jermaine is not the same Achor. Not even from an on-court, I mean, every off-court life, just in general, type of leader. I just can't, especially with how Achor's career went at Kansas State. I'm not buying the solo Achor hype. I think Achor needed a few other pieces.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, basically Jermaine kind of forcing him to grow up. Basically, would probably be.
When we talked to Jermaine 2 years ago, he was like, "Yeah, I took Achor to the gym every single day, every single day."
Yeah, even like when Ryland told us when he visited on his campus visit, the only guys on campus were Achor and Jermaine just working out every day.
Yeah, I mean,
that makes sense.
Okay, here's another what if. What if there's no eligibility and we can just have Jermaine on our team forever? That's the great what if.
That's video
game
stuff.
What if Wesley Cardette didn't transfer?
Yes.
That's a squad right there. Yeah,
that's a squad.
Dude, UTC though could play this game in circles around us with some of the guys that ran through their team this past few years as well. Unfortunately,
yeah, they won the NIT, so they don't need the what ifs.
What is that again?
Yeah,
the not in tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, did the Crown of Champion? Did they ever play that tournament?
The Crown, yeah. I have no idea who won, but they played it.
They really played. I saw nothing on it. Absolutely no coverage. What a botch. What an absolute botch. Whatever.
See, it does kind of suck that our big what if we find ourselves in the same spot we were already here. That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's kind of refreshing though. It's like it's kind of nice. It's kind of like
yeah.
You can't get too heartbroken.
Yeah, I mean, we know this. We've said this from a football perspective, baseball perspective, especially. We're fine being the stepping stone. When you're the stepping stone, you just have to hope that you retain enough talent to take a little step forward each time. Because otherwise it is pointless. But it's fun while to your point, Mike, the journey is at least fun. Even if we don't ultimately reach the destination.
I didn't even think about the Cardette piece. That feels like 20 years ago when he was on campus in Lowe.
Yeah, what if we didn't have the Quez saga? Like, what if we just
Kansas
didn't have
feels like 15 years ago.
sucker of Quez? Grant, there's a lot of what ifs.
If Quez stays, Ryland never shows up, and year 5 is
oh my
Quez.
God, Ryland never shows up. Kiss that entire run goodbye.
What if Bucky didn't get on that plane to go down to recruit a Chor?
Yeah.
What if he didn't risk his life? Yeah.
Well, okay, so.
What if Bucky lost all of our NIL money in a game of Texas Hold'em?
In Vegas?
Yeah.
That actually would have been epic. Then we would have been the opposite of that FedEx story. Would have been like
that would be a great 30
to
30, 20 years from now.
I have no comment on that front, but yeah.
A SoCon mid-major program amasses a small fortune to buy their way into the NCAA tournament, only for it to be gambled away at the poker table of a Mountain Brook home. That would be a nice story. I mean, shoot, the internet was taken over when a guy got stuck in a vase in a backyard. Like, that's nothing.
What?
What are you talking
I
about?
don't remember that guy that got stuck in that giant thing in the Mountain Brook party.
Oh yeah, it's a Mountain Brook kid. Yeah, it's a Mountain Brook kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Grown man, like 40, 50.
Yeah, that's tough.
Anyway, Acuff Ferris here, Bucky era, bye bye. College Station, dude. What a trip. Let's get to the state of the Bulldogs. We got baseball, softball, heartbreaking series loss. We'll get to that in a minute. And then tennis, men's and women's. Men's finishing a 3-way tie, but we're somehow third in the. I don't know how the tiebreakers worked. We had the shortest end of the stick.
Didn't we beat the 1 and the 2 seed? So
Yeah, we
I
beat
don't
the 2
understand
seed
that.
to end the season. I don't know. It's the SoCon, gerrymandering over here to get Furman as the one in the women's and ETSU at the top of men's. But
Oh, I didn't realize ETSU made the 1 seed. Never mind.
yeah, Mercer the 2. But first, baseball. So as we talked about last week, the only gimme team this season is VMI. Everybody else pretty darn competitive. Warren Nolan has the SoCon as the 8th highest ELO conference, 10th overall. So very competitive. And we played Citadel this weekend. Got the series dub 2-1. Should have had the series sweep. Cameron Kayshot pitched 7 innings in game 2. Had certainly pitched well enough to win. But guys, a trend is emerging. Not only are we kind of a late game pitching becoming a red flag, but defense. We're the freshman starting at shortstop at 5 errors in the Citadel series. He has a good bat, but 5 errors. When we get to Greenville, that's going to be the difference in winning a tight game against Wofford on a Friday night or Saturday morning. And we got to tighten up. But the offense is doing all right, and our pitching's really come around. So in game 1, went to extra. Samford got the dub 9-8. Miller Regan's pitched 5 innings, only gave up 2 runs. So very strong outing there. Evan Steckmesser, he got the win with another 5 innings pitched, only 1 run given up. We didn't have any home runs, but Jake Souders, Gus Gandy, Michael Gupton all got 2 hits. Trey Higgins and Jackson Harris drew 2 walks, and they had both a hit as well. Gus Gandy, the freshman shortstop, as I said, he was the one with the 5 errors. In one weekend, just seems wild. Hit 3 in one game. But anyway, you live and you learn. Game 2, we lost 3-4. And that was the one that we gave up 2 runs in the 9th that we should not have. Gupton homered, and Ince got 2 hits. Ince went hitless in game 1, but really turned it on in game 2 and 3. And then game 3, we won 8-5. Freshman pitcher, I always mess it up, Grant. Is it Blashy?
Blashy.
Yeah,
Blashy.
That's a good way to say it. Blashy.
Not one of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's not surprising. None of the above. Mason Blashy. He's 5-0 on his 5 dubs on the season. Does not have an L to his name. Pitched 7 innings, 3 runs, 7 Ks, 1 walk. That'll play. Parker McDonald homered, and Ince Carr had 3 hits. Souders, McDonald, and Matthew Strand had 2 hits. And then Trey Higgins, shout out, drew 2 walks. Walks are as good as hits. So a fantastic offensive game in game 3. Very solid series win. We got VMI, the only easy series win. I'm not going to call a sweep because sweeps are still hard. But the only easy series win on the conference slate. And then Bama in the midweek next week, which will be exciting. From a RPI perspective, ETSU is still on top. They are 56th in the country. Samford is 74th, Mercer 87th, UNCG 106, Wofford 123, Western 136, Citadel 137. So, I mean, outside of ETSU, it's all pretty much similar squads between Samford and Citadel. And then VMI bringing up the rear 242. So we got to get the dub. This Easter weekend. Grant, softball, heartbreaker.
Yep. First baseball has to survive the long bus trip backing up to Lexington after.
I have a feeling the baseball team manages that ride a whole lot better than any other team on campus. Something tells me they have a way to make that one fun. But yeah, they do have a long ride.
Moving to softball, they dropped their first SoCon series of the year on the road at UNCG. Lost the first game 3-1 of the doubleheader, won the second game 6-5, and then lost the third game 5-3. It was really UNCG's pitching in the first one. Partain pitched great, allowing just a couple runs in the UNCG game, but it was UNCG starter Jordy Chartran who threw a complete game, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 3 walks, 5 Ks. So it was hard to kind of get her out of the way. Moving on to game 2, Samford won 6-5. Sarah Bond pitched most of that one. Katie Campbell had a massive day with 4 homers. Then Joy Hubbard, Greer Bruce, Sarah Skwachi had 2 hits. Olivia Shaw also drove in 2 runs. Katie Campbell was named the SoCon Player of the Week this weekend after going 7 for 12 with 2 homers, a double, and 11 RBI. So she had another massive weekend. For game 3, Samford lost 5-3. Partain and Bond versus Tartain and Ward for UNCG, and then we only recorded 5 hits as well. So the bats, which had been scorching hot as of late, kind of slowed down a little bit, scoring only 10 runs in 3 games at UNCG. But a perfect bounce back opportunity with no midweek, and then with Easter weekend, they're playing 2 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, hosting Furman in their next to last home SoCon series. So,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
a true pitching duel. Chartrain was first team all SoCon last season, or maybe 24-23.
Yeah.
She's Canadian. We gotta close the border, boys. We gotta keep Canadians out of here, because she was why they won that series. I mean, that is insane. So we only got 5 hits in that game 3, but they only got 6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the margin was so thin.
Got to raise those tariffs. We gotta get on that. Tariff the NIL. Exactly. Tariff the NIL money in Greensboro, and then
that's right.
Moving on to the RPIs of War Nolan. UNCG 50, Chattanooga 59, Samford right there at third at 68, Wofford 86th, Mercer 106th, Western 166, Furman 209. That's who Samford plays this weekend at home, and then ETSU bringing up the bottom at 249.
We're gonna wreck them. I mean, the girl, think about it. They're going from one of the best pitchers in the conference to just average SoCon pitching. We're going to score 10 runs a game. It's going to be a blowout.
As well. Yeah.
Softball team's rolling, although this UNCG series sucked. I have a feeling it's going to be us versus them in the SoCon championship for NCAA berth on the line. But
yeah, and where the standings sit, Samford is tied with UNCG right now at the top at 9-3, with Chet 8-3. Wofford's at the bottom at 3-9. Or sorry, Furman at the bottom at 3-9.
Yeah. Few more weeks to go before the conference tournaments. But Mike, bring us home, baby. Men's and women's tennis.
Yeah, men's team rolling like we've talked about the last few weeks now. Like Sam mentioned earlier, they had a 3-way tie for first place in the SoCon. But because we got slacked by ETSU 2 weeks ago, we ended up as the 3 seed, not the 1 seed, unfortunately. So tournaments this weekend. As the 3 seed, we'll take on UNCG April 17th. And then if we win that, we'd potentially have a rematch with Mercer, who we beat this past weekend in a tight match 4-3. So
you're saying there's a chance we could play ETSU in the championship again?
We could potentially see ETSU in the championship game.
Okay.
Championship match, I should say. Women's team, as we've talked about all season, not so hot. Not doing so hot. They got the 7 seed out of 8 teams. So lost both their matches to end the season. They will end up facing the 2 seed ETSU in the first round of the playoffs. The first round of the tournament this week.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see the men's tennis break through. I mean, who knows? The women might go on a crazy run.
They were so good when we were in college. If you remember that, Sam. But the coach left, and
it wasn't flipped. The men's were fine too, but the women's were the standard of the tennis program.
Yeah.
Where did that coach go?
I think he ended up taking an assistant job at Washington State, maybe somewhere out west.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pullman, Washington. Nice.
Be a nice place to live. Maybe.
Yeah.
Mike Leach did it.
Yeah.
Spring sports are in full swing. It's crazy that tennis is wrapping up. It doesn't feel like it. We just had the Masters. It doesn't feel. It's not even hot. And yet that season's wrapping up. I guess they started a little bit earlier than baseball, but I don't know. Baseball season. I mean, both baseball and softball are shaping up to be pretty good shot of making the NCAA tournament. I mean, ETSU and baseball is still just rolling.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
But Greenville, Wofford won last year. You just never know. And our team is certainly good enough to give us a shot. And our pitching I can definitely see now how we probably thought our pitching was going to be amazing coming into this year. because we started off slow. But my gosh, I don't know if anybody's what's his name, Grant Blashy, Blache,
Close enough, Blashy.
Blashy, mother
Yeah.
trucker.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone knew Blashy was going to be this good. He's so good.
Freshman. Freshman too, who
He's
has
gone.
become the
Like,
Sunday
he's
starter.
gone. I don't want to say there's no chance we hold on to him, but an arm like that as a freshman in SoCon, that sucker will play.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see it. We'll see how the basketball staff shakes out. Any other parting words?
One more thing on the coaching search. It was kind of cool how close and quiet the Samford admin kind of kept it, because normally like it gets leaked pretty easily and reporters are out kind of on top of it and like putting it out there. So it is kind of cool that in this day and age, like no one really knew what was going on. And when it came to like the big reporters until the announcement came out, it's like, oh yeah, here's a release that Samford in 4 days has found their new hire. I thought that was pretty cool for that not getting out.
It was tight lit.
Yeah, I'd be so curious to see who they interviewed and who they talked to.
It does help when the entire basketball office is empty. Not as many lips.
Yeah. It was tight lips for the big journalist. I don't know about us over here, but you know, so take that, Rothstein. Take that, Goodman. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do y'all really like? I can't
Jared
imagine we talked to more than 3 people. It seems like Acuff had to have been on the short list. And as soon as you kind of get a good feeling, you just kind of roll with it, right?
Yeah, I think Acuff had one, maybe the first or maybe like the second call. Like, I'm sure he wasn't far down the list in terms of guys. Maybe on his way out, Bucky was like, hey, here's some guys that I think would be good for this year, like who I think could probably replace and kind of take that job. Maybe Lennie was kind of on that list of like, this is the guy I know he's a winner, you should reach out to.
Had to have been.
Mm-hmm. You gotta call more than one guy, right? Just to do your due diligence.
I think you go one at a time. You make first person say no.
Yeah.
I don't know, Grant, you're the search firm, you know.
This job was definitely a little quote unquote sexier than it was last time, when it's like we had to go to the high school ranks to get a coach because no one wanted to coach us like right before COVID, right? That's how Bucky kind of got. So maybe there's some agents try to get in. Hey, our former P5 head coach would love this job, even though Samford's like one of the only like last 4 or 5 jobs open. Hey, we love this guy. So there is some of that going on. You kind of sift through where this guy's really is a good fit or not. Jared Hass was a name that was kind of thrown out there early. Former UAB, former Stanford coach. I was really meh on that. Like, let's go somewhere else. That'd be like another basically retread hire, basically what Benny Seltzer and Padra. I think it kind of take us back to those days. I didn't think he was a great fit, but once Acuff, we kind of got word that Acuff was a guy. I think we felt a lot better about where the search was going than where it was 5 years ago when we had to go to high school to find a coach.
Yeah, I think the Samford job, you have to be more than just your run-of-the-mill basketball coach. And Acuff seems very much in tune with Samford's culture, which only bodes well in not only getting the donors on board, students on board, but it just helps sift through to find the right kids who are willing to put up with some of the downsides of coming to a campus like Samford's.
Yeah, he also said in the interview with McElroy that his daughter lives like 5 minutes from Samford, so like it's all like full circle.
That's so nice.
Of the
that's
things,
so nice.
So, yeah.
But he needs to be recruiting, not hanging out with his daughter. So
you gotta think he's got a good grasp on the Alabama basketball.
But like
he knows everybody. Yeah,
how many guys do? That's like having all the connects of Maine football. It's like
but like
Lipscomb is
such a similar program that he's been probably recruiting the same. Like we know that he recruited a bunch of the same guys that Bucky recruited.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a huge transition for him. Who would want to go to Lipscomb over Sam?
No one.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, low-key though, Birmingham is a much more fun college town than Nashville. Nashville would probably get old very fast. It's probably really cool your freshman year, and then
then expensive.
But your freshman year you go to Broadway, and then you learn like the real local spots. Yeah.
That's true.
Like Franklin.
Yeah,
we raged down here in Franklin.
Spots 40 minutes away from downtown, or 30 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, sources said that's where Malieva was the other night. Just trying to get away from it all. You just want to go to Franklin just to settle down and chill. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, just trying to ask some rich Brentwood families for some money because he's broke.
It's tough living out there for Nico. Look, it's hard to have a sign out on the side of the road that said, "Please pay me $4 million," and
I
they
mean,
say,
do you think
"Where's the tape?"
Samford's got that kind of bag for
I don't
football?
know. Hey, ETSU might.
Yeah,
ETSU might.
Yeah.
They're snagging all the washed up quarterbacks.
yeah. Their quarterback battle is Cade McNamara and Jacoby Criswell. It's like, what? That's
It
not a
is
real thing.
it is music to my ears to hear Cade McNamara in the SoCon. Everyone knew
It's
that guy
hilarious.
was so bad at Michigan.
Bro, Cade McNamara could start for ETSU in Birmingham to play Samford. He was starting against
They
Ohio
will
State
win
3
the
years ago.
game. All right, boys. Well, it's Easter weekend. Everybody, happy Easter. Baseball, softball. Let's get the series dubs. Layups this week, boys and girls. Layups. Let's make our layups because we got some
Layups are
challenging
hard.
series coming up. Yeah, more challenging series coming up. So let's build some confidence. With that, the state of the Bulldogs is out. Hope everybody has a great Easter and a good